On my 30th birthday, my wife forgot and went to a hotel. I called the front desk. Happy birthday to me. Enjoy the divorce on a cake to her room. I waited as my phone started ringing. First call came at, I declined. She called again. Then the texts started flooding in. What the hell? Why would you do this? You're embarrassing me. Call me right now. This isn't funny. I screenshot everything and didn't respond to a single message. Let me back up. I'm 30 years old, been married to Jessica for 4 years, together for 6. I work as a financial analyst making $95,000 annually, while she makes $52,000 as a marketing coordinator. We'd been talking about this birthday for months because turning 30 felt like a milestone I needed to acknowledge properly. I wanted to feel like I'd accomplished something meaningful by this age. The morning of my birthday, I woke up expecting something. Breakfast in bed, maybe a card, literally anything. Nothing. She was scrolling through her phone when I came downstairs, didn't even look up. Hey, running late. Got to go meet my friend for brunch. Be back later, she said, grabbing her purse. I stood there processing the fact that she'd taken the day off work but hadn't mentioned it was for my birthday. No acknowledgement, no happy birthday, nothing. I sat at the kitchen table for 20 minutes, just absorbing what had happened. Then my brother texted, Happy 30th, bro, big day. What'd she get you? That's when it truly hit me. She either forgot or was pretending to forget. I spent the day working from home, telling myself maybe she had a surprise planned for tonight. My mom called, my dad called, friends texted. Everyone remembered except my wife. Around 4 p.m., I checked Find My Friends. We share locations because she said it made her feel safer when traveling for work. The dot showed her at the downtown Marriott. Not a restaurant, not a spa, not a shopping center. A hotel. My stomach dropped. I tried calling, straight to voicemail. I could have driven there, burst into whatever room she was in, made a scene. Instead, I did something that would change everything. I Googled the hotel number. Hi, this is going to sound weird, but my wife is staying in one of your rooms and it's my birthday. I'd like to send her a surprise cake. Can you help me out? The front desk person was enthusiastic. Oh, how sweet. What room? I'm not sure, actually. Her name is on the reservation, though. I gave them her full name. Clickety-clack of keyboard typing. Found her, room 304. When would you like the cake delivered? As soon as possible. Can you do 30 minutes? Absolutely. Any message? I thought for exactly 3 seconds. Happy birthday to me. Enjoy the divorce. Silence on the other end. Sir, are you sure about that message? Never been more sure of anything. Okay then, we'll have it delivered within the hour. The cake will be $65. I gave them my card information and hung up. Then I called Peterson and Associates, the divorce law firm my colleague Jake had used last year. Left a message explaining I needed a consultation ASAP regarding asset protection and divorce proceedings. Here's what Jessica didn't know about my financial position. That $95,000 salary was actually conservative. With bonuses and stock options, I'd made $127,000 last year. I also had $85,000 in a separate investment account from my grandfather's life insurance payout that I'd kept completely separate from marital assets. I'd been meticulous about documentation because I'd seen too many divorce horror stories in my line of work. More importantly, I had something Jessica had always dismissed. My pinball machine restoration business, what she called garage trash, was actually 6 fully restored vintage machines worth approximately $45,000 total, plus 2 more I was working on that would add another $15,000 when complete. Every purchase, every restoration, every receipt was documented and photographed. I'd been doing this for 8 years, starting before we got married, and had kept immaculate records. The lawyer, David Peterson, called back at 7 p.m. I explained the situation while Jessica was still presumably at the hotel. He actually chuckled. So, you sent a divorce cake to a hotel where your wife was with who exactly? Great question. Not me on my birthday, that's for sure. I can see you tomorrow morning at 9. Bring any financial documents you have. We'll talk strategy. Jessica came home at... I was in the living room with a beer, watching the news. She walked in like a storm. What the hell was that? A cake for my birthday since you forgot. I didn't forget. I was planning a surprise party for this weekend. Interesting. What hotel was the surprise party at? Her face went red. I wasn't. It's not what you think. What do I think? I was just hanging out with friends. You tracked me like a stalker. You're the one who insisted on sharing locations. And yeah, I tracked my wife on my birthday when she disappeared to a hotel. Crazy, right? Nothing happened. We were just drinking and someone got a room to keep hanging out. Someone? Who's someone? She didn't answer. I pulled out my phone and showed her the cake receipt. Room 304 was registered under your name. Was someone's name on there too? It was a group thing. We all chipped in. Cool story. I have a lawyer appointment tomorrow morning. You should probably get one too. She started crying. You're seriously doing this over a misunderstanding? You forgot my 30th birthday, spent the day at a hotel, and I'm the bad guy for sending a cake? You can't throw away 4 years of marriage over this. I stood up. Watch me. I went to the guest room and locked the door. She knocked and cried outside for maybe 30 minutes before giving up. Honestly, I slept better than I had in months. The next morning's meeting with Peterson changed everything. Turns out my financial position was stronger than I'd realized. The house was in both our names, but I'd put down 80% of the down payment with money from my grandfather's life insurance, money I could prove came from separate property. The big advantage you have, Peterson explained, is documentation. Most people going through divorce have messy financial records. You've got receipts, bank statements, proof of separate property investments. The pinball machines alone give you significant leverage. I spent that afternoon photographing and cataloging every machine. Serial numbers, purchase dates, restoration logs, current market values. My 1978 8-ball machine, purchased for $800, restored over 6 months, currently worth $6,200. My 1980 Black Knight, bought for $1,200, worth $7,800 after restoration. Every single receipt, every hour of labor, every part purchase was documented. Jessica was staying at her parents', giving me space. Then her mother started texting. How could you humiliate my daughter like this? She made one mistake. You're throwing away a marriage over a birthday. She's devastated. I replied once. She spent my 30th birthday at a hotel. I sent a cake. Now I'm sending divorce papers. Please direct all future communication through her attorney. Then I blocked the number. 3 days later, Jessica came home. I was in the garage working on my 1978 8-ball machine, cleaning the playfield contacts. She appeared in the doorway looking like she hadn't slept. We need to talk, she said. Talk to my lawyer. Stop being dramatic. I told you nothing happened. I kept working on the machine. Who was in the room? Silence. That's what I thought. It was my friend's boyfriend's friend. We were all just hanging out. It wasn't like that. Your friend's boyfriend's friend got a hotel room. You were there on my birthday that you forgot? I didn't forget. I was planning something. I finally looked at her. Even if I believe that, which I don't, you still chose to spend my actual birthday at a hotel with other people instead of with me. That tells me everything I need to know. So that's it? 4 years done? Yep. She looked at the pinball machines with sudden interest. Fine. I want half of those then, and half the house, and spousal support, since I make less than you. There it was, the real reason she came back. Talk to my lawyer. Those machines are half mine. We're married. Nope, all purchased with my money, documented. You never cared about them anyway. Called them garage trash last year. That's not fair. I supported you while you wasted money on them. You mean while I invested in appreciating assets? Cool. My lawyer has all the receipts showing their separate property. Her eyes narrowed. You're being vindictive. I'm being smart. There's a difference. When I went back to working on the machine, she finally left. 2 days later, I got served with papers from her attorney. She was asking for half the house value, half my retirement account, half the value of all pinball machines, $30,000 by her inflated estimate, spousal support for 3 years, and for me to keep covering her car payment that was stupidly in my name. Peterson looked it over. This is aggressive but standard. We'll counter. The pinball machines are your separate property. We can prove it. Spousal support for 3 years is laughable given the short marriage and her employability. The car thing is annoying, but we'll handle it. Then I found out the truth about her friend's boyfriend's friend. My brother heard from his girlfriend, who was friends with Jessica's coworker, that the guy at the hotel was actually someone she'd been talking to from her gym. They'd been workout buddies for 6 months. I confronted her via text. Workout buddy from the gym, 6 months. Want to revise your story? Who told you that? That's a lie. So you don't have a workout buddy named Marcus? We're just friends? Just like you were just friends at the hotel on my birthday that you forgot while I sat home alone? Nothing happened. We just talked in a hotel room that you paid for. I didn't forget. I was planning something for this weekend. It's been 5 days. Where's my surprise party? No response. The entitlement was actually impressive. She genuinely thought she'd done nothing wrong, and I was overreacting. Her father called a few days later. He actually seemed reasonable. Look, I know she messed up, but don't you think divorce is extreme? Sir, with all respect, she spent my milestone birthday at a hotel with another man and forgot about me entirely. What would you do? Long silence. I'd be pissed. Right, and I'm handling it legally and calmly. She says you're taking everything from her. I'm taking what's mine. She's entitled to her fair share of marital assets. That's it. The pinball machines are separate property, all purchased before marriage or with documented separate funds. He sighed. She's been a mess since you filed. She made her choices. You're really not going to work this out? Nope. Thanks for calling. He didn't push, seemed like he understood. 5 weeks later, things got messier. Jessica moved out officially. Her parents helped load her stuff into a U-Haul. She tried to take the 65-inch TV I'd bought 2 months before we even met. I had the receipt. She called me petty. Her mom called me selfish. Her dad told them both to just take her stuff and go. Then came the depositions. Peterson prepared me thoroughly. Just answer honestly. Don't volunteer information. Stay calm. Jessica's lawyer tried to paint me as controlling and vindictive, asking about the cake stunt. You sent a humiliating message on a cake to your wife in front of her friends? I sent a cake to my wife on my birthday that she forgot. With a message about divorce meant to embarrass her? With a message stating facts. It was my birthday and I was planning to file for divorce. You don't think that was cruel? I think forgetting your husband's milestone birthday to spend the day at a hotel with another man is cruel. I think a cake is pretty tame by comparison. Peterson suppressed a smile. But Jessica's deposition was where everything unraveled. Under oath, she admitted to being at the hotel, confirmed Marcus was there, acknowledged they'd been workout buddies for 6 months, and admitted she'd never told me about him because it never came up. The killing blow came when Peterson presented text messages obtained legally through discovery from Marcus's phone. Messages like, he finally got her to the hotel and about time, and she said she should leave her husband soon. Jessica's face went white. Those don't mean anything. He was confused. He was confused about you saying you'd leave your husband? I never said that. So this text is fabricated? I don't know. Maybe he misunderstood. She left that deposition looking like she'd seen a ghost. 2 days later, I got a Facebook message from Marcus's ex-girlfriend. Apparently, they'd broken up over this mess. Just wanted you to know she's not innocent. They've been texting for months, meeting up outside the gym. She told him she was in a dead marriage and looking for a way out. Sorry you got dragged into this. She included screenshots, months of flirty texts, planning meetups, complaints about me. Nothing explicitly physical, but definitely emotional affair territory. Peterson was pleased. This helps our case against spousal support significantly. Then Jessica tried one final desperate move. She showed up at my apartment. I'd moved out after she refused to leave the house until it sold. Can I come in? No. Please, I need to tell you something. Tell me from there. She took a breath. I'm pregnant. My heart stopped. What? 2 months. I just found out. I did the math. 2 months ago was right around my birthday. Hotel timing. Mine or his? Her face crumpled. How can you even ask that? Pretty easily, actually. Is it mine or Marcus's? It's yours. We were together 2 months ago. Once. 2 months ago. Right before my birthday. And you've been with him how many times since? I haven't been with him at all. So you're saying it's definitely mine? Yes. Great. Get a paternity test after it's born. If it's mine, I'll handle child support. If not, not my problem. You're not even going to consider getting back together for the baby? Not even a little bit. You'd let your child grow up in a broken home? My child would grow up with a father who respects himself, better than watching their dad get walked all over. I closed the door. Peterson was less optimistic about this development. If it's yours, this changes things. Child support, custody, co-parenting. I'm not staying married because of a kid. That's worse for everyone. Agreed, let's wait for confirmation. Jessica immediately tried using the pregnancy as leverage. Her lawyer sent a letter saying she needed the house because the baby needed a stable environment, and I should cover all medical expenses. Peterson's response was swift. Paternity test required before any baby-related considerations. Client willing to discuss custody and support for his biological child only. Her lawyer sent back an angry letter about how insulting it was to demand a paternity test. Peterson replied, "Then she shouldn't have been at a hotel with another man on her husband's birthday." The house sold for $524,000. After paying off the mortgage, we each got $62,000. Less than I'd hoped, but fair. I found a decent apartment near work and moved my pinball machines. Setting up the game room was like therapy. The divorce trial was set for 2 months out, but Jessica's demands got more reasonable quickly. Translation, her lawyer probably told her she was screwed. Final settlement. House proceeds split equally. She got 35% of retirement contributions during marriage, $0 for the pinball machines, separate property proven with documentation, 0 spousal support. She was employed full-time, short marriage, her fault in breakdown. Car title transferred to her name, she handles payments. The pregnancy resolved itself 2 weeks after I demanded paternity testing. She had a miscarriage. Peterson and I both suspected she was never pregnant, just using it as leverage. The timing was too convenient. Either way, not my problem anymore. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. Judge signed everything. It was over. She sent one final email. "I know you hate me. I don't blame you, but I need you to know I'm sorry. I should have been honest from the start. I should have cared more about your feelings. I hope someday you can forgive me." I read it twice, then deleted it. No response needed. My brother asked if I felt relief now that it was done. Honestly, yeah. Not in a vindictive way, just peace. Like I'd been carrying weight for months and finally set it down. The pinball machines are all set up in my new place. The game room looks amazing. I've gotten back into restoration full force. Picked up a 1979 Gorgar machine for cheap that'll be worth $7,000 when I'm done. There's this woman I met at a pinball tournament my friend hosted. She's into retro gaming, helped me troubleshoot a solenoid issue on the 8-ball machine. We ordered pizza, fixed the machine, played a few games. It was easy, comfortable, no drama. When I told her about the divorce, her response was, "Well, she's an idiot for picking some random gym guy over someone who can fix vintage pinball machines." Made me laugh. Life's not perfect. The divorce cost me $8,500 in legal fees. My retirement took a hit. Some mutual friends sided with her, but I kept my machines, kept my self-respect, and got out before kids complicated everything. The best part? I'll never forget my 31st birthday. My brother's throwing me a real party, real friends, real celebration, and I'm definitely baking my own cake this time. Looking back at that moment when I called the hotel and ordered that cake, best $65 I ever spent. Not because it humiliated her, but because it was the moment I decided I deserved better. And I do. Peterson kept a copy of the cake receipt. He said it was the most efficient divorce starter he'd ever seen. Most guys waste weeks trying to prove infidelity. You just sent a cake and moved on with your life. To anyone going through something similar, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't waste time on people who don't prioritize you. And document everything. Receipts, texts, timelines make the legal stuff way easier. Also, if you're thinking about pinball restoration, do it. It's therapeutic and profitable. Just keep detailed records. You never know when you'll need to prove separate property in a divorce. The 1979 Gorgar is coming along nicely. Should have it fully restored by next month. Already have a buyer lined up for $6,800. Life goes on, and honestly, it's pretty good.